Obviously, it's more like street level, more on the ground with working class people. There are high stakes nicely embedded into this episode. The first episode that was just released the other day on Sunday. There's high stakes that are, hold on, what's the episode called? Okay, so it's called The Hedge Knight, the first episode. That's the title of one of the books, one of the novellas, maybe the first novella. So fitting that it's the first episode title. But the thing that stood out to me, like beyond the, I love that it's street level and that it's more like working class. And I'm really comparing it to House of the Dragon, especially more so comparing it to House of the Dragon than I am to Game of Thrones, because there's a starker contrast between House of the Dragon and this one in terms of the high elite focus, like on the elite class in House of the Dragon, the Targaryens, and you grow empathy for some of these characters in House of the Dragon, but in reality, like, most of them are shitty people. Most of them are born into this shitty elite class, and even Rhaenyra, and I think it'll get worse just by knowing the books, what happens, how they're gonna portray her later on. But even so far, like, she's not the greatest person. She makes some questionable, like, decisions. Elite class in the way that they have, like, these rituals, almost like, you know, these conspiracy theory type things that happen in the real world, like with the Epstein class, or like, you know, the corporate class, the billionaire class, like all these weird theorized ritual type things, these rings and these secret meetups in the woods. That type of thing is like so Targaryen to me. And then this Hedge Knight episode from Night of the Seven Kingdoms is like the working class people perspective, where it's like you had the Baratheon that was featured in there, and let me check what his name was. Lionel Baratheon, also known as the Laughing Storm. But I thought he was my favorite part of this first episode because he was funny. He was like, when Dunk first walks up to him, there's like this classic Game of Thrones dread of like, these kings will kill you like without even thinking twice about it. And that you feel that when Dunk first goes up to Lionel. But then he does laugh. He laughs. He says, like, you know, we'll kill you in like these weird, crazy ways, because he doesn't know who Dunk is. And you feel like, oh my God, he actually is in some trouble here. But then Lionel seems to be more of like a middle management type elite person, but not like quite elite class, like a Targaryen, like Rhaenyra or Daemon, or those other Targaryens that are featured in House of the Dragon. But or those other, not even just Targaryens, like the Lannisters that are in that and the other families. But there's less of a, he's not actually going to kill you. Maybe he would, but in this scenario, it's like a really cool way to distinguish him, this series, from both Targaryen, the House of the Dragon, and the Game of Thrones proper, which was a little bit, I don't think either one of them did as good a job as even just this first episode did in telling the story of the common folk. This was more detailed and more heavily invested in them. It's the whole show, even down to like the foods that he was eating at the feast. There was more detail on what they were, and like you really feel him feasting on all this food and like washing his clothes in the river and things like that. But anyways, I really like this episode. I don't know, off the top of the dome, my rating would probably be like 8.2 out of 10. Highly recommend. Excited for this this new series.